right, yeah. So this was on the 19th. So this was 2 days ago. So this is very recent stuff. Bill Taylor is here talking about a whole bunch of developments related to broadband access in Peterborough. And I'm just gonna let this roll for a second, just so that we can have a look at it, and yeah, and then we'll move from there.
Yeah, Nancy Plant. Yeah, so obviously everybody knows that there's some spots in town that have miserable internet. I'm one of those spots, so trust me, I understand. What a couple months ago, I don't even remember when it was, probably February, somewhere before everything went crazy. We had a meeting with Senator Maggie Hassens. Is she senator or congresswoman?
Senator.
We had a meeting with her and some other, Gene Deitch was there, some of Maggie's staff, there was a bunch of people, a few community leaders. So what came out of that meeting was I met with the president of Y Valley and the director of government affairs for Consolidated Communications, and we discussed and initially had some really positive feedback, or some pretty good vibes coming out of putting together Peterborough, Consolidated, and Y Valley to try to address the needs in a cheaper and faster form than other than going through the whole entire bond process. And we're not completely figured out if we can avoid the bond process, but we might. So anyways, we decided, and so far so good, but it got slowed down pretty quick, that between those two companies and myself, we're working on a program to get everybody wired in the outskirts. There is a website. It is UNIFI, I think, unify.net, that has options for broadband that I believe run off of your cell signal, and they can boost it inside your home. So for the people that are really struggling right now with it, that's an option. And I've heard some pretty good feedback from somebody out towards Ashley Drive that was working real well for them. So I would encourage anybody that's struggling right this minute to look into that. And Gene Deitch had reached out to us and said that there is some federal funding coming down the line. And if that federal funding matched exactly with what it would cost the town to get us wired, and therefore getting us out of getting us to avoid the entire bond process, that'd be pretty fabulous. So she's working on that. We have a couple more steps to take on the town's end to put out an RFP, that's request for proposals, from any broadband providers to basically give us a proposal on what they could do, what it would cost. And so there's a lot of things going on with it. There's no perfect answer right now. It's like everything, it's going to take some more time, but it's at least encouraging what we've been hearing so far.
Yeah, I mean, look, like, it's all this stuff is great, right? It's awesome. It's awesome that we're taking measures to do this stuff. It's awesome that that Bill is stepping out here, and I totally respect his desire to remain positive. There's also the reality that, like, look, Senator Gene Deitch has been working on this for, I do not know how long. I mean, and it's like I you know, I've ran into her a few times. I've had a couple conversations with her. I mean, I know her pretty well, and I mean, this is something that she's been working on forever, man. I mean, not forever, but like this dates back years. You know, when I first moved back up here after living in the city for a while, that the conversation was happening then, about trying to get better broadband up here. I mean, it's almost 10 years ago. So there's a certain like, well, this moves slower than molasses. And I feel like you can kind of see Bill's frustration here. You can see his frustration that he wants it to be that easy. He just wants to put it together and make it happen and just go. And unfortunately, that's just not how this is going to work. At all. So, and I think with that, it's probably just, I might as well just get over to the next clip on it, because realistically, like, there's more to be had in here. And I think this second clip from it really is going to get to the meat of what I'm trying to point out here. So we'll go with that.
Some parts of town just have horrible internet, and that's, all there is to it. I know that there's another technology that Consolidated has been working on, which can boost DSL signal on existing copper phone lines. For anybody that doesn't know, all the phone lines that go to your house are made of copper. So that's what I mean when I say that. So that may turn into some sort of a pilot program in town here to, I don't think it's a totally solid technology yet, and they're kind of working out the kinks, but if, we can pick a couple of parts of town with them, and this is preliminary too, obviously, but if we could pick a couple of parts of town to let them do a pilot program, and if it works, awesome. It's not going to be any worse than it is right now, because how could it be for most of them?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's that update.
Great. Well, I'd like to thank you for jumping on that. I know Senator Deach has been working on that for years, long before she became a senator, even when she was with the EDA in Peterborough. And it's a slow moving machine up at the state. And I know she's been advocating for us here and everybody in the area that in the rural areas that do not have access to internet. And we're all seeing how difficult that is for people now. So,
there's some other things that
it's also just, it's not just the state, right? Like, it's important to remember, like Tyler's right, it is definitely like that matters, but it's also like these providers are like it's a profit motive. Like I just, for anybody that like might have it twisted, let's remember their first order interest, like Consolidated and all that, their first order interest is not necessarily to make sure that everybody has service. It's to make sure that they're making money. And yeah, there's definitely money to be made in bringing service to people that don't have it. You always want a new customer, but the other thing to consider is that if they can't find a way to like make that profitable for themselves, or if they can't see a way to do it, then they can sit here and they can say, we want to do this all day, but they won't actually do anything. So, well, it's just something to point out.
So with Y Valley and Consolidated, the initial conversation and a couple since then were, like I said before, we're pretty encouraging. And I just came right out to them and said, hey, look, is there not enough, workaround for everybody? What about if we all work together to try and get this figured out? And they, they all kind of just looked around for a second. They're like, yeah, that we can do that. So
right, and
that was something that hadn't happened before.
Yeah,
getting people to.
I don't know. I look, I don't know about that, man. That's really general. Can we help everybody? Can you guys work together and help everybody? Yeah, we can do that. Okay, that sounds like the most simple boilerplate, like off a script situation ever. Like I personally, like, I love Bill and I appreciate that he's trying to do this, but I have no idea what that accomplished. I have no idea what him saying, can we all just work together, actually accomplished. Because, like, they're like, yeah, we can. Skip over to, but if it's not profitable for us, we won't. If we don't have a way to make money off of it, if we don't have a way to recoup our costs quickly, especially in the middle of a pandemic, then we're not going to do it. Like, that's the unspoken part. And I don't want, like, you know, I really love Bill's, like, tenacity to go after this stuff, but I'm looking at this skeptically right now. I'm looking at that, like, that conversation, what he just pointed out, I'm looking at it so skeptically, because I just, dude, if anything is proven to us just how hard it is to get any kind of service up here, they already talked about it. So I don't, you know, like, I know Bill wants to be the mover and the shaker of it, and that moment that he's describing might have made him feel like he really made a difference there. And I hope he did, but frankly, I am dubious that it actually, like, that what the exchange he just described meant anything at all. So anyways.
Elaborate, and I'd like to see it work out with them. If it doesn't, that's fine too. Then we'll just move on to the next, and then the next, and then the next.
And I'm glad that he understands what I'm talking about right here in his follow-up there.
We're definitely on top of it as best we possibly can be.
Great. And certainly the fact that the kids are, everybody's schooling from home and working from home right now, the pressure is on all over the country for rural broadband and to get this service to every home. And so it'd be wonderful if there was federal money and it got channeled down.
Right. And also, people don't forget that the providers, everybody's busy, all those companies I'm sure are pretty busy fielding calls, but it's not the worst thing you could do to call them and let them know that you're concerned and you need better internet.
Hell yeah.
We can do we can do everything we possibly can on the town's level, but they need to feel community pressure too, as well. And I think.
Hell yeah, dude. That's right. That's right. Awesome. Okay. Sorry. I'm like, I get excited about it, but like, damn straight, dude. That's where it's at.
That would help.
Yeah, that's.
I would never just come out and say, everybody right now, this second, pick up your phone and call and complain to every internet provider. But if you're not doing anything after lunch tomorrow or something, maybe give them a shout.
Yeah.
But you didn't say that here.
No, I didn't. I would never say that in a public meeting. And if it doesn't work out with the people at Consolidated and Y Valley, I'll just, at the next meeting, I'll give out their cell phone numbers and email addresses.
Oh yeah.
That's good.
Right. So like, look, this is it, man. This is like, I personally love the fact that, like, this is the selectman that I would personally expect to be the least activist driven, and yet he's out here calling for everybody to just like rip on internet providers. Like, this is great. This is totally cool. I'm happy with the leadership in the town over this one. All right. I recognize that it's like a total moonshot for us to actually improve our internet service here. But the fact that you've got the leaders of your town calling on the people of the town to hit up the corporate interests and be like, no, you need to help us. That's baller. Okay. That's awesome. And, like, whatever I was saying about the last bit is like, this is the part that matters, man. Like, I do appreciate the intent here. I really appreciate the intent here. And I think that's just like, it's really gotta be noted and applauded. And it's, you know, like I'm happy to see everybody laughing about this one. So that was like a really great, this is a great moment. I just so I just saw that and I was like, gotta share it. There's like a theme in this week's stream, I guess, of like conservative folks saying things that are more like left leaning, or things where we're kind of connecting back on the other side. So this is a trippy, this week's going to be a trippy stream. And as we can already tell, and with that, actually, I am noticing that I'm having some lost frame problems. I'm going to see if I can fix my stream health really quick. So folks, I'm just going to bop out for like a moment. I'm sorry to put it on hold. We'll just take a sec to reacclimate. Hopefully I can get stream health better so people can enjoy it. The other thing I did want to say just before I pop to break is that starting this week, I'll be clipping the shows. We're recording them ahead of time so that it's like, you know, the quality will be better, but we'll actually get shorter segments. So folks who don't want to have to go digging through these big long streams for the content, it'll just be there for you. So all right, with that, I'm gonna just sort of pause it out really quick and I'll be back in a minute. Thanks, guys.